no hope, why try anyway? But every kindness, large or slight, shift the balance toward the light. Waters wide and open wide, lean in toward the light. Don't just walk when you can fly, lean in toward the light. Justice is in short supply, lean in toward the light. Let beauty be your truest guide, lean in toward the light. The shadows of this world will say, there's no hope, why try anyway? But every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light. The prayer I pray at eventide, lean in toward the light. All left undone be put aside, lean in toward the light. And when forgiveness is hard to find, lean in toward the light. Be at least to be kind, lean in toward the light. Lean in toward the light. In toward the light. Lean in toward the light. Lean in toward the light. Lean in toward the light.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to McKillop United Church. Thank you for joining us on this cool Groundhog Day, and thank you for everybody who's joining us online today. We're glad you're with us today, too. And thank you for all our musicians who are providing us wonderful energy and music. And we had a new song by the CTS, which they're learning it's by Carrie Newcomer, is that right? Lean in towards the light. So thank you for that. And we have a guest solo today and all sorts of things happening. So thank you, everybody, for being here and welcome. If you're new in person and would like to join the e-newsletter and get called our What's Happening and find out what's happening in the congregation, you can just leave us your name and phone number and email. We promise not to sell your information or spam you or scam you, but it's a great way to know what's happening in the congregation. And also, if you're online and would like to receive it, just put your email in the chat and we'll pass it off to the office today. As always, each and every Sunday that we join here, we affirm who we are as an affirming congregation of the United Church of Canada. Whoever we are and however we identify ourselves, this is a place for us to be and to celebrate who we are. And we also continue our journey on truth and reconciliation as we acknowledge the traditional territories and the oral practices of the Blackfoot nations. And in our area, that includes the Siskaka, the Piikani, and the Kainai, and also Foothills Métis District. And we are all actually treaty people here in southern Alberta. Our annual meeting is coming up next week, our annual congregational meeting. It will be at 10:30, but if you want to come early and have some cinnamon buns and coffee and time, it'll be up. Everything is upstairs in the upper hall, and then we'll have a worship meeting and celebrate our year and look towards the next year coming up. Also, coming up, beginning in March, is a in-person or online group called the Earth Action Team, Everyone Rising Together. It's a 6-week session. It starts with brunch at 9:30, and the sessions start at 10, and we're joined by Rivera Sung, who's a nonviolent activist and trainer, and it's looking around how do we come together for our environment, for the earth, through climate change, and also, particularly in southern Alberta, the eastern slopes being open up to coal exploration and mining, and how do we actually make real change. So that's a wonderful group to join. And then today, Following the service, we have two special guests from L'Arche, but they're also sort of part of McKillop. We have Sandra Riddell and Sarah Delby. Are they back? They're back there. They'll be upstairs selling tickets for the 7th annual benefit dinner for L'Arche. They're $100 a ticket. $50 goes to L'Arche. And McKillop United Church has been in partnership and support for L'Arche for decades, and it's an amazing organization, and we hope we can support it as a congregation. Now it's my pleasure to invite Terry Vogt, our stewardship chairperson, to talk about another long-term program, February Outreach at McKillop.
Thank you, Trevor, and good morning, everybody. I guess if the first few days of February are any indication, it seems like we can expect some confusion, uncertainty, and anxiety to be part of our lives over the next several years. I'm not sure how we get back to a place where honesty, decency, and common sense become normal again in our world, but we can take some comfort in the knowledge that in uncertain times there are sure things. Compassion is up to us. Empathy is up to us. Supporting others is up to us. Care is up to us. Gratitude is up to us. Being inclusive and welcoming and affirming is up to us. Generosity and empathy are up to us. At McKillop, one of the ways we demonstrate compassion and gratitude is through the February Outreach campaign. This month, we invite all of you to give a little bit extra, a little bit more than usual, and the donations over and above our long-term average for the month of February will be split 50-50 between our local outreach fund and McKillop's budget. The Outreach Fund is used to support individuals and families that are going through a difficult time in their lives. In the past, we have provided assistance with utility bills, with paying rent, gas money perhaps for a medical trip to Calgary, some grocery money until a person can be registered with the local food bank. We have paid fees so a child could attend camp or some other programs. And we've offered support that will see people through a temporary emergency due to, say, unemployment or illness or other unexpected circumstances. Holding this campaign in February also helps us too as a church community because it gives us a little extra to offset day-to-day expenses at the very beginning of the year when givings tend to drop off after the generous donations that come in during December and at the end of the season. In the coming weeks, we'll be passing on more information about February Outreach, including how you can donate, which is as easy as going to our website and hitting the link. But just keep in mind that February Outreach is a program that inspires meaning and purpose. It has a direct impact on individuals and helps us build a better world by helping individuals overcome some of the despair and uncertainty and anxiety that can sometimes overwhelm their lives. So we encourage your generous support for this fantastic program. It allows McKillop to put our faith in action. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you to everybody in the past who's given to February Outreach and may be considering giving this year. Even, one of the biggest issues facing us in Lethbridge right now that February Outreach is involved in is two things: housing insecurity and food insecurity. And just a couple weeks ago, we had a young woman crying on the phone because we were a congregation that's trying to live our new vision, living sacred relationships, and we helped her stay in her house instead of being evicted because of circumstances beyond her power. And so there's so many ways that we can help each other, as Terry said, with empathy and caring and compassion. After our service, as always, if you're not at home and already enjoying a good cup of coffee, we invite you upstairs to continue this time on a cold day with a cup of coffee, tea, a snack, and warm conversations. As we continue our series, A New Year, A New Vision, we come to the last word today of our new vision statement of McKillop, Living Sacred Relationships. What is relationships? What's that word mean to you? What does it mean in your daily life? What does it mean for us as a congregation? We hear from Jay Bowen, a First Nation man from Washington, the state, throughout the service of what relationship might mean from their perspective.
There's a story of Coronado coming to North America. As he came up from Mexico into what's now Arizona, he was met by the Hopi elders. And the holy man put his hands out like this. And Coronado looked down and he said, they're nothing but beggars, and ordered his lieutenant to throw down some beads and trinkets at his feet. And all the men around the holy man said, let's kill him now, that they're being so disrespectful. Let's just kill him and get this over with. And the holy man said, no, our brothers have returned. Give them time to help remember. The Hopi believed that they came out of the earth. The families were sent off in the four directions to all corners of the earth. And they were to come back and tell everybody what they learned and saw and share it. When they were to come back, they were to take their hands, put it like that, I'm home. So who's not family?
Let's join together in a moment of centering and prayers. Oh no, I'm ahead of myself. Let us begin with let us build a house where we're all family and we're all part of one big family. Let us build a house where love can dwell and all can safely live.
All praises and children down.
everybody. Invite us now into a time of opening prayer, a time to center, a time to maybe feel that we're all building a life together, a life of relationship, a life of compassion, empathy, and respect. So let us pray together. Spirit of life, help us to realize that we're all part of one family on this small blue dot floating in space. Spirit of life, ancestors of stars and sun, you embrace the vastness of space and us along with it. May we be aware of all these sacred relationships in your presence today in our very bodies, in our thoughts and mind. Hold us in our worry and worries, our exhaustions, our griefs. Keep us close as we sit with our truth, whatever that may be. Lead us to rest in the quiet here today in person and online, so that we might find solace and renewal in the time of shifting light and dark. You, O love, whose arms open with the spinning galaxies and help us to make room as you do for all that is, open our hearts to our loved ones, our neighbors, those we're in opposition with, the beings with whom we share this planet. Lead us to reach out to others in compassion towards and turn us towards one another in mercy and right relationships and reconciliation. Oh, we pray today in this space filled with people among us who shine like stars. This space is filled with the sparkle of love and care, and we give thanks for this moment to be together. May our senses be open to the beauty of this day, this season, this world, and the dance and the work and the singing we do with you, O Spirit of life. Amen.
Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Move with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Sing with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for a new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way.
At McKillop, we are beginning to unpack and live a new vision that went through a consensus meeting near the end of 2024. Our vision is McKillop, living sacred relationships. Now, what does this mean? How do we understand the word relationships? In a paraphrase and translation from Nancy Merrill, we hear about some qualities of relationships in Psalm 82. So here it is, Psalm 82. O compassionate one, you are merciful wisdom. In the silence, you make yourself known to all who take time to listen. What would that those in power heed your voice? How long will you misuse power that oppresses the poor? When will you learn that to act justly and with integrity will bring mutual blessings to all? Do you not know that to give succor to the poor and to free people to succeed will bring you more joy than all your bank accounts? Arise, awaken to the new dawn, come into the light, Shed darkness like skin on the snake, for the foundations of the cosmos are shaking with injustice. I say, within you dwells the divine, the breath of your breath. Open your heart in the silence and know the one in the many. Arise, join the new creation. Let harmony reign among all, the nations, all people, the ecosystems, and the whole cosmos. May the Holy Spirit bless our understanding and help us to live the truth we hear. Amen.
In the native world, the first thing we're taught is to listen. And that's not as simple as the Westerners interpret it as just listening, oh, your ears. We're taught we listen with our soul. And when you listen with your heart or your soul, you're to listen open and calm without judgment. Just take the information in. There'll be time later on to figure things out. Till then, just take it in. When we go into a gathering, for example, we're told at the threshold of the door, there's a hook, a big nail. On that nail, you're to hang all the issues you have with anybody in this room. Leave those behind. They have no business here. You come in here with an open heart and open mind to learn and listen.
wondering if the young folks would like to come down for our story today. It's all about actually listening, and especially when things don't go well. Hi, Lois. Hi, everybody. Have you ever got in a fight with anybody? Yeah? Or disagree with people? 99 times. Wow. That's better than me. You're doing much better. Well, this book is called The Circle of Caring and Sharing, and it's sort of about relationships. What happens when we do disagree, and maybe how we can come back together. So let's read it together. It's written by Theresa Corky, is her nickname, Larsen-Jonasson, and it's illustrated by Jessika von Innerebner. And she's a First Nation person who wrote this book. And so I love the characters in it. So let's start it. There were once two foxes who were best friends, and they lived on the plains where the sky never ends. One day, these two foxes had a terrible fight and were no longer friends. Do you see them? The one's laughing at the other one in the water. And when they went home that night, they were no longer friends. The two foxes refused to talk the next day, which made their friends sad and not want to play. An old buffalo knew just what to do and went to Kukum, the owl, and said, "Hoo, hoo, hoo." And the old owl said, "We should hold a sharing circle today so that we can all hear what our friends have to say." So they gathered the animals from all around to come sit in a circle on the ground. This circle is sacred. This circle's for sharing. That connects the community in a way that's caring. We're gathered today because of a fight to bring all our feelings out into the light. And so the animals took turns passing the stick to speak. Some gave loud roars and others a squeak. Yes, the foxes, they have tears in their eyes, don't they? Listen to each other, explain why their feelings were hurt and causing them pain. And now the foxes understood what went wrong, and they could go back to getting along. And the animals thanked Kukum for bringing them together. They knew they would be friends forever and ever. The end, that's right. Now, do you wish that was that easy sometimes? But you know what? We practice this is called the way of the council too, or it's called a circle sharing, and we practice it in our church council meetings, like the people that make the decisions for the church. And you do sit in a circle, and you do sometimes have like a talking stick or a talking leaf or rock. And when you do, there's two instructions. One is to listen from your heart, which is different, like we heard, than just listening with your mind. It's judging, like saying, "Oh, you're bad, I don't like you." You try and put that aside, and you listen from your heart. And then the other thing you do as we go around the circle is you don't interrupt anybody as they talk. And then you're supposed to talk from your heart. And it actually does change things when we do that. And I bet you the adults wish some of the adults in politicians would do that more. But it is a way to share and care, is by how you listen to people. When you really listen with your heart and really speak from your heart, things do change. And so we're not taught this, but maybe we could start practicing this. So that's our story today. I think Emily is your Spirit Kids facilitator, and she's waving at you, and she invite you to go downstairs with her for Spirit Kids time. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this in my office. Thanks, Lois. Thank you. Have a good day and good week at school. I hope you don't get in any fights with anybody you care about.
Please stand and join us as we sing.
When I was younger, the old Indians, man, they'd start talking. Oh, God, they could talk for 2 hours or 3 hours. And you were just to sit there, and listen. And I said, I'm going to find the first meeting where there's a bunch of natives gathered together. I'm going to stand up and start talking and not shut up. I'm going to just let loose. And you become an elder in our tribe at 55. Sure enough, man, that day came. And a couple days later, I found myself in this big group of all these natives having lunch and dinner and talking and visiting. And I thought, I'm gonna stand up and just not shut up. I've got 55 years of pent up. And I sat there and I thought, I don't have anything to say. I had nothing to say. I was wanting to say it for all the wrong reasons. I was wanting vengeance. I was wanting payback. I was selfish reasons. And had no purpose there. It would help nobody. Just all the wrong reasons. I learned my lesson. Listen.
Well, today we're on our last word of our new vision statement. It is, McKillop, living sacred relationships. Relationships. What's that word mean? With everything that's happening in our world today, and maybe some of you are a little more anxious after all the news yesterday and what the future holds, maybe this word and all these words we're talking about really hold such value and meaning, and I'm so grateful and I feel so privileged to be with two wonderful people up here today and all of you and everybody online as we talk about the word relationship. Many of you might know Meg Fester. She's showing up today feeling a little humble, messy, yet a marvelous human being. And Meg wears a lot of hats in life, including being our affirming community liaison. And today she wants you to know that she's not proclaiming any sense of authority on the topic, but she's open to speaking from her heart, her mind, and her lived experience. And I guess practice relationship, right? And then we have over here Jason Schreiner, and I didn't know this. You were born in Nigeria?
Niagara.
Oh, I read this wrong.
Yeah.
I like Nigeria
I
better.
know. Yeah.
Can we go with Nigeria?
We can.
Niagara.
Yes.
Oh, you went over the falls then. No. And moved. I need better glasses. And in his early 20s, and was called to Lethbridge ever since. He has multiple degrees, including a Master's of Theology, and still looking for a business model where his translations of Greek might make money, but that's not profitable yet. He lives in Pat Hooper's old house, who is a member of McKillop on 7th Avenue with his partner Kristen, their 18-year-old daughter Georgia, and then their misbehaving Labrador Rosie. And you also assisting your kids from far away. How do you say their names right?
Kaya and Lincoln.
Kaya and Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And Jason's involved in consulting and community engagement. And he hopes his kids don't try and pursue a career in New Greek Testament either, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's right. So, yeah, with that, relationship, you two. What is your image of relationship, or what does it mean for you? Do you kick it off, Jason?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Trevor. It's a pleasure to be here with you, as always. When I was thinking last week when we talked about the word sacred, I did a lot of thinking about that in the context of relationship, the last word in our vision. And I'm going to wax a little Catholic on you, pull upon my youth. Sacred, that which is set apart, that which is devoted, that which is dedicated to God, is kind of a traditional idea there. And I think we have, when I was doing my, my Master of Theology, I took a class on sacred architecture. And I think we have this idea that certain spaces are set apart, sacred. Something special is happening at that. When we talk about cathedrals or buildings and our relationship with them, ideally when we cross the threshold, we're crossing the threshold into something, a space that's set apart, a place that where something eternal might be happening. And there's this sense of awe or reverence associated with our relationship to space, ideally, when we think of sacred space. And when we bring that to the context of people, us, and human relationships, and we think of relationships as sacred, what on earth does that mean? Like, what does it mean for me? It means that we are to recognize that which is devoted or dedicated or set apart for God, that which is eternal. There is something inside each one of us that is eternal, that is set apart, that is devoted to a divine purpose. And what does that mean when you think of Christ when he's, when he was living out relationships with human beings and with the objects of the earth, with his environment? He brought us back continually to, that which is sacred, that which is set apart. It's not about the money, it's not about the power, it's not those with privilege, it's not those with prestige. It's everyday people, it's everyone. There's a part in us that we ought to be recognizing as eternal. So when we're engaged with one another, there's a call to be present, like powerfully present. It's an absolute miracle that we're here, like as bodies. Like Vegas is not giving you odds on existence happening, right? When we think of our life and death, our very presence is dependent upon relationships, like in a physical sense, right? Biological life is based upon relationships of objects, and what if our what if our soul, what if our chance at joy, our chance at being authentic, real, and present is dependent upon relationships? I think they are, and I think they're dependent on us recognizing each one of us as sacred. The fact that we are here together, that in itself is sacred and miraculous. I think there's 8 billion of us right now. You just think of how many people will you be able to see in a lifetime? A fraction of a percent, a fraction of 1,000th of a percent of the humans alive right now. Your senses will interact. I'll be able to hear, see, taste, touch, feel. That's extraordinary. So just on the rock bottom basics, it's miraculous and sacred. But how often are we completely callous, completely indifferent, ignoring the fact that we're seeing each other or present, facing each other, is a miracle. Mm-hmm. So even the profane is miraculous, and we ignore that. Never mind that there is a part of us that is sacred. Yeah. So a sacred relationship it's difficult because it requires incredible responsibility to the moment. It requires us to reflect. It requires us to integrate, and that's hard, right? Simple things are the hardest. I think, like Terry was talking about, this morning, that ultimately our response to the crisis around us it's our responsibility, right? My relationship to money matters. My relationship to the earth matters. And how am I treating these profane or sacred, these relationships? My relationship to my wife matters, to my children matters, to you it matters. None of it is inconsequential. because we're engaging with that which is eternal. It's absolutely essential. So, yeah, they matter. These relationships. Yes. I think it's the very essence of life. So, yeah, and I think there's always a call to action when we're together, and that's the hard part, right? I mean, relationships. I think they are they're both the worst and the best things that happen to us. Yeah. And everything in between. Yeah.
How about you, Meg? What's your image, or what's the word relationship mean for you?
Yes,
as
I
we're
think
dialoguing?
I loved what you had to say, Jason, about presence, and in the spirit of that, about just being like.
1 second.
Oh.
This happened last time too.
Is it?
This thing.
Oh.
Can we take that off? There we go.
Are we okay?
Yeah, we're good now.
Oh, good. Thank you.
This is relationship with technology.
Interaction, relationship. I appreciated what happened here, the miscommunication actually about Nigeria and Nairo. Be like, that's so human. That's so about relationship. I think about how those things weave their way throughout our relationships. And in terms of presence, starting off with a good morning. Hello, I'm so thrilled to be here sitting with you two humans on the stage, as well as in this space of beautiful stained glass and with you folks out online, that I was prepping this week, thinking about more often than I typically do, which is quite often, thinking about relationships, but thinking about it again in a new context, preparing for this moment. And I started small, thinking about relationships with humans. And then I got bigger. Started thinking about inanimate objects, particularly my love for coffee. And then went to like our non-human friends. And then I ended up getting even bigger in terms of like the earth itself, relationships with the earth itself. And then got really big and I was like the cosmos. And I was like, oh my gosh, Megan, you can't talk about all these things in the 2 minutes you have. So I'm going to narrow my scope here and maybe just talk about human relationships, but acknowledging that relationships exist within all of those contexts for certain. And so I started talking to people. You know, what do we think about relationships? What do I think about relationships? And one particular friend that I cherish, the blunt friend, said, are you sure you're the right person for this job? You're not even in a relationship. Yes, yeah, my response too. I just took that in my heart, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about relationships, particularly in the sense that we think the only way to be in relationship, maybe in our culture and our society, are in these intimate, committed partnerships, and that's the only version or definition we have for relationship. But that's just a misconception. That I think about my life and the way that I get to be in relationship is in every interaction that I have, that I get to work to cultivate trust or safety or connection. And that happens in hopefully as many spaces as I have the capacity for in any given moment. And maybe I invite us to like broaden our definition about like, you're in partnership, therefore you're in relationship. But like, no, maybe there's a million different ways to be in relationship. What I particularly love about, queer theology, queer philosophy, beyond the norm ways of thinking, are that there are so many ways to love, so many ways to be in relationship, and honoring the sacredness of that. And so I invite you into this curiosity about, oh yeah, what new ways might we be able to look at relationship? So sweet if we do find ourselves in a traditional family sense and we find trust and safety and connection in those spaces, but also recognizing like a lot of harm has also occurred, and happen in all different variations of relationships. So if we're talking about relationship, I also want to acknowledge that harm often happens in those intimate spaces. Think about my work as a social worker, I see a lot of that. And recognizing that boundaries also are an important part of relationships. So someone I was reading, Prentice Hemphill, had this great statement about boundaries are the distance from which I can love you and me simultaneously. And I think that also is an important part when we're thinking about how we're relating and how we can continue to be in peaceful enjoyment with each other. So there you go. That's my little thing. So thank you for letting me be that elder who gets to talk for 2 minutes or whatever that is. So I'm honored. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
This is what, are we saying this is my chance to stand up and not shut up? No. No. I mean, no, but you know, as I hear you both talking, and I don't know how you're all feeling out there and online, but like living is an easy word, somewhat, if you have to base it. Like living's not that hard of a word to explore unless you're dying, but you're still living as you're dying. We won't go there. But then sacred too, you know, that's not, you know, we can make sacred, but relationships, that word is so, like you've just unpacked so much between both of you. It's like, and what I hear, a word that comes up from both of what you've said to me, when I think of relationships, the word I hear is messy. Messy. Like, sacred doesn't feel as messy, and living doesn't feel, but really messy. Like, what? How do we do relationships and messy? And like, do you have any thoughts on that, or feelings, or sense?
Ooh, as a self-proclaimed messy human, I do, and in terms of the sense about how do I honor both the sacred and the profane in myself. I heard you express those terms, and it is, I think we like negotiate those tensions inside of our realities, but also internally, and to hold that, and then recognize I desire it to be this way, but sometimes it's not. And how do we come to terms with that? And so for me, an answer that I've found supportive is compassion and deep self-compassion, so that also I can like shine that in my relationships, hopefully, you know, ideally, you know.
Yeah. Mess.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's the highs and the lows and everything in between. I mean, relationships are the site at which we live, right? Yeah, that's where life is happening in the moment. And there's a constant call to presence. But yeah, I mean, I think we all have that. You know, these constant reminders that you know what we got going on is important. And so, yeah, the mess of it, though. I mean, I think that it also reminds us that this is something we're living through, right? Moment by moment, and we don't need to do this perfectly. And nobody can, and nobody will. It's unfolding in the moment, and I think as long as we're progressing towards presence, towards integration, to that recognition that okay, let's just stop and take a moment here. You know, when things are going sideways. It's a call to action constantly. The conflicts that we have, the confusion that we have. You know, when we're vacillating between even the aspects of our own self, right? Yeah, it's a call to stop, breathe, remember that. Yeah, we're all going through this together, right? Even those that we feel are profoundly hostile to our sense of well-being. Man, we're still in relationship to them. Right? Yeah. Even to these ideas that are that seem brutal at the moment, we are in relationship to them. So there's an opportunity to see, you know, how do we see the divine in that? It's a disaster, it's a mess, but it's also our only hope at joy and overcoming it is living in it, getting into it.
Back to the word living.
Yeah, getting right into it.
We keep going circles.
Yeah, we
living,
do. Jeepers.
Sacred relationships.
Yeah.
I think
it's so much work.
It's so much more.
But it's great. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something that you said there, Jason, I connected with. It was that that sense of we don't have to do it perfectly. And maybe sometimes I think I do. Like I think, and maybe other humans can relate with that sensation of just like, oh, I thought I have to do it perfectly the first time. And for me, I'm like the feelings of maybe some shame that come up, and even recognizing how do we in relationship create relationships that are safe enough that we don't have to hide from each other. And I think shame makes us feel like we need to. And how can we, create relationships that allow us, that don't have the expectation of perfection? Or when we notice it sneaking in, because I think it does, that we can name it and be like, actually, that you don't have to do it perfectly. I think about raising my teenage kid, I think about this, like, we are in for some times, and I'm going to be coming to all of you in terms of support. That being said, I want to create an environment where she can come and say this happened, that she'll be held and not have to think she has to do it perfectly. And hopefully I don't have to put that on myself too, about it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, try again and try again and try again until we, get it more closer, more in alignment with how we want it to be.
Well, in a way, as we're listening to Jay Bowen, their deep culture, as we hear in this clip coming up, is about how relationships help us grow in imperfection and perfection, as we listen to Jay.
The elders around you, the older people in your life, are responsible for looking at the young one coming up and taking notice of their life. And then they gather you to the side and they say, oh, you're really good at this. This is one of your gifts. We're big on recognizing gifts. And then our gifts are what we're going to walk through life with to help other people. At 4.5, 5 years old, people started talking to me, and telling me what I was going to do, my responsibilities in life. I was told I was going to be the head of the family. And I was thinking, as a young kid, you're like 4 or 5 years old. You're like, oh, that feels pretty cool. I'm big stuff, But I guarantee my auntie made it very clear. Because the higher up you are, the lower down you serve. You will serve and help everybody.
So all of you here in person today, when you think of the word relationship, what image comes up for you? Or a couple words? And same with everybody online. If you'd like to put into the chat box to share, what image comes up for you when you feel in or sense or think about the word relationship, or what couple words? Is there anybody that would like to share, a couple people today? Just raise your hand. There's always a few people.
Trust.
Oh, say it again.
Trust.
Trust.
Complicated.
Complicated, yeah. I have my reading glasses on, so I can't see. You have to hold your hand up high. Anybody else feel brave?
Yeah. I'd like to soften it and say it's a chance to learn, but I think what first came to mind is like it's a test.
It's a test.
Yeah.
It's a test. Well, thank you. Ever hear anybody up here in the... Oh, yes. I'll run up. Like Oprah Winfrey.
It's like a gift and a blessing.
A gift and a blessing, yeah. Love it. Let's see what they said online quickly here, too. Online, we have from Deb on YouTube, it's awesome. And then on Facebook, just have to update it here, technology. Today we have over, I think we have like 1.50 different people on. Shirley says for us today, it is mystery. So, we've had all these images, this dialogues, we have Jay, like, in the end, like, this word relationship, how would you know if you saw it in action? And what would it mean like in concrete like ways for our personal life or us living here as a community? Like, I think we'll give you the last word. So, yeah, you want to, yeah, what does this word look like here and now, like messy, concrete way, blessing, love, mystery, all these things?
Oh, well, I think on the attraction level, right? I mean, I think we know whatever it is that turns you crank, right? When you see it, it's like, and that feeling like, oh my gosh, yeah, right, wow. I think we all know that feeling. That's a wonderful feeling. But if we're taking this seriously about a sacred relationship and that there is the eternal presence of God within us, theoretically, everyone around us, there's a potential for that, yes, to exist, right? And how do we bring ourselves back to that, or how do we put ourselves in a position where we can see that beautiful yes inside each one of us? So, practically, I mean, showing up, right? Get off the phone and look around, and recognize that there's an opportunity for both growth in everyone, right? When we do that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay, two examples come to my mind, and the first one is about boundaries. So I got to spend time skiing with a little kid the other day, and he was working so hard, but there were moments where he would get so tired and so frustrated that he would start yelling or crying or just give up completely, and it was like, okay, how do we know relationships are happening? As I sat down beside him, I was like, okay, this is about fun. And if you're not having fun, I'll know if you're angry or crying or giving up. And then we take a break. And then we'll come back to it. And I think that boundary is relationship. Is about like life is for enjoyment and for connection and for peace and fun. And if that's not what's happening, let's take a break and re-engage as we can. And the other one, and I think I'm lucky to have lots of friends who are partnered in really stable, beautiful spaces. And one time my friend had to go out for an event, and her husband went and was like, I'll warm up the car for you. And that, I just like called it out. I was like, oh my God, what an act of devotion. What an act of love. And I think that's something we can do, is like call it when we see it and help remind each other, like, oh, that's love in action. That's relationship happening right now. And maybe we forgot, or maybe we forgot to notice, and that happens sometimes, but how can we help remind each other and reconnect and recall ourselves and each other back into relationship, back into love, back into connection, and also call it and cut it when that's not occurring, so that we can re-engage in the in the ways that feel aligned. So those are mine.
We could talk forever.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've been thinking 24/7 all week long about this topic. So,
yes,
yeah.
I mean we're just on the surface today. I don't know how you feel, but as you leave here today, what do you take into relationships that you're a part of, either with yourself, with the earth, with others, those you're in conflict with things happening in the world? We'll give Jay Bowen, who's been with us digitally, the final word on this topic, and then we'll join together in singing our next song, When a Poor One.
King Solomon of the Bible. He was offered two things: great wealth or wisdom. He made his choice. He chose wisdom, true wealth. In our native world, we talk about our work, not our job where we make money, but our work is our expanding on our gifts in life, Wisdom is know to use your gifts to know what to do with them, who to help. You listen to your heart and soul tell you who to spend your energy with, who to spend your resources with, and give attention to those people. I do a lot of writing, and it's called my morning musings. I'll do whatever issues on my mind for the day. And I end it with the same sentence. Yes, we are our sisters and brothers' keepers. Our deeds and actions will affect our neighbor. Our selfishness takes away from somebody else. Our generosity helps somebody else. I was at this elders lunch a couple months ago, and I was having this very animated talk with the other elders there about world issues, wars, and all these troubles. This one little grandma, she must have been 80-something years old. And I looked over at her, and she had her hands on her head. When the world discovers we're all just one family, we'll all be better off. And she was almost in tears.
You could leave your mic. Please be seated. We're very pleased to have Evan here today. I'm going to invite him over here. Evan's been visiting family, and are you off now? Are you leaving? Is this your last One more week. Well, Evan's is going to sing a solo for us called Here I Am, Lord. And as he does it, I invite us that this is our time of prayer, our time of where are you being called in your life, in your relationships to be of service. Thank you, Evan.
I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. I will give my light to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of snow and rain, I have borne my people's pain. I have wept for love of them. They turn away. I will break their hearts of stone, give them hearts for love alone. I will speak my word to them. Whom shall I send? I, the Lord of wind and flame, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them. Thy hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord?
Well, everybody's invited to here in person to come upstairs for a time of coffee, to hold each other in our hearts. You know, I truly believe in some ways Jesus was living sacred relationships. And in a way, we're being sent out today with whomever you live with, whomever you meet, with the earth and all the beautiful creatures, our more than human friends, with those that tick us off, that those we don't understand, to be living sacred relationships. So let us go from here and turn the world around. Amen.
Please stand and join us in singing.
Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Let us sing this song for the healing of the world, that we may heal as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing. Let us sing this song for the waking of the world, that we may wake as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our waking. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song,